Okay, so yeah, good evening everyone. So let's start the session. So in the last session, we have seen like how to install some softwares in a Linux EC2 instance, right? As a part of that, we have seen like how to install a HTTPD web server. Then we hosted a simple or a basic HTML website, and then we discussed about user data, right? User data or bootstrap scripts, both are same. We have covered that part. Okay. In today's session, let's talk about Amazon machine image. Already we covered that, right? Already we have used the AMI and all. We know what is AMI, what is the purpose of the AMI and all. Sorry. But as of now, we have created almost like a 3 to 4 different EC2 instances, and every time we use the AMIs provided by Amazon, right? We don't have any specific Amazon machine image for ourselves. That is, we call it as a custom AMI. First, let us talk about what is the use case of our own AMIs or custom AMIs, and then we will see how to create the AMI as per our requirement. Okay, right. So first, oh, what happened? Give me a second. Mm, Is my screen visible, guys? Yeah, okay. It seems the screen got shared. Okay, no issues. Okay, so my company, let us say I'm working for a company and we have a requirement that the testing team will create a new EC2 instances whenever they want to install the package or a software, and they want to test it. They want to test it. Or it might be a data analytics team. Whatever the reason might be, they need one EC2 instance at any point of time. The team is like 10 different people are there. They might create the EC2 instances at any point of time. But what's their basic requirement is, just for an example, this particular EC2 instance, once the instance got created, to continue with the team members' work, let us say it must contain Notepad++ and a 7-zip, and let us say Visual Studio Code, VS Code, and something like some tools, some ABC, XYZ. Means that particular person, that particular employee cannot work without having these tools on a particular machine. Let us say, for example, a Windows EC2 instance, right? Because these all are the Windows softwares. So on Amazon, you cannot find an AMI which can provide all these softwares automatically, because AWS cannot maintain an AMIs for every individual person requirement. What they do, they only maintain the popular AMIs. In this case, what that particular person has to do, first EC2 instance to be created, right? Then the user must log into the EC2 instance, then install all the required softwares. This might take like 30 minutes to 60 minutes. So here, what we can do is we can create an AMI in which we can include all these things. This is called as custom AMI, customized AMI. We can customize the AMI as per the requirement. You can include whatever you want. You can place some data and all. So what we are going to do is, to test this, we are going to talk about the customized AMI, or we call it as a custom AMI. Means we can create an AMI, or we can say customized AMI as per the requirement. So let us say my requirement is we need to create an EC2 instance, which is a Linux operating system. This is an operating system. And then I need some software called HTTPD. This is the operating system. This is a software, and the software related configuration. What is the configuration? Like start the service, automatically start the service, right? Always the service must be running. These are the configuration part. And then the web page index.html. This is called as a data. Not only the softwares, you can place the data into the AMI. This is the requirement. Means whenever I create an EC2 instance, it must be installed with a Linux operating system. It must be installed with a HTTPD software. It must be configured as per my requirement. And that EC2 instance must have this particular file at var www HTML location, like a data. And there is no such AMI exist. So what we have to do? So first thing, we need to create an EC2 instance. We need to create an EC2 instance using the AMI provided by AWS. So what it will do? So it will only offers Amazon Linux 2023 operating system, because I'm going to choose the AMI which can provide Amazon Linux 2023 operating system. But it doesn't contain the HTTPD software and all the things. This is the AMI. Using the AMI, we created the EC2 instance, CPU, RAM, let us say storage, and on top of that, you will get Amazon Linux 2023 operating system. That's it. You won't get anything else. But this is not the requirement, right? This is not our requirement. Then what we have to do, this is the first step. Then the second step, being an administrator or a user, you need to log in. This is the second step, which is going to be login. Then install whatever you need. Install whatever you need. Like here, I will install HTTPD software. Then I will do the configuration part. Then I will place index.html. Everything I will do manual. Login and set up the EC2 instance. But that doesn't mean these additional things will be included into the AMI. This is not possible. You can't do that. You can't do that. So then how can we create our own AMI so that that AMI can offer all the required things? Once everything is done, once you think or once you confirm that your EC2 instance is as per your requirement, then from the EC2 instance, we need to create AMI. We need to create the AMI. This is a customized AMI. This AMI is an image, right? Whatever is available in that EC2 instance, everything will be included into this AMI. What is the advantage of this? Whenever I create or I launch EC2 instance using this AMI, so EC2 instance will be created, right? This contains the Amazon Linux operating system. Automatically, it will get the HTTPD software. Automatically, it will get the required configuration. Also, it gets the data. Means whenever we create the AMI, at that point of time, whatever is available in that EC2 instance will be included into the customized AMI, so that this AMI can be used multiple times, and within 5 minutes, your instance will be ready. No need to install all the softwares individually, right? And to waste the time. So we can save that 30 to 60 minutes of time with the help of a customized AMI. That is the first use case. The second use case is, let us say we have an EC2 instance. This is not going to use it regularly. Occasionally we use. in which we installed all the required softwares and all the configurations were done and everything is done. But to set up this server, it will take minimum 1 day or 2 days of time, let us say. And I use only once in a month. I will only use this server once in a month. So why should I keep running this other 29 days without using? Why should I pay money? So what I do is I will create an AMI and I will delete the instance. So everything is available in the AMI. From the AMI, I can create the EC2 instance whenever I need the same EC2 instance for my job, like to process some data or to convert something from one format to another format. Let us say if I am using this EC2 instance and that job only for 1 day in a month, why should I keep running the other 29 days without using the server? Why should I pay? Simply, I can create an AMI, a kind of an image level a kind of an image, or we can say image level backup. We can terminate the EC2 instance. Still, your data is available in that AMI. And using the AMI, you can create your EC2 instance. Okay, right. So here, Amazon machine image, which is also known as AMI. What is the AMI? AMI is Amazon provided image. AMI provides the operating system, configuration, and optional software for the EC2 instance. Based on the selection of the AMI, we will get the required OS onto the EC2 instance. AWS offers multiple variants of AMIs, multiple variants in the sense Windows only operating system plus additional software. Again, in the operating systems, Windows or Linux. In Windows 2023, Windows 2022, Windows 2019, Windows 2016, different versions, right? AWS offers multiple variants of AMI. Also, we can create our own AMIs as per our requirement. How can we do that? First, we need to create an EC2 instance using any existing AMI, then set up the EC2 instance as per your requirement, then create an AMI from the prepared EC2 instance so that from this custom AMI, all the EC2 instances will represent state as the first EC2 instance, like how the EC2 instance was at the time of creating the AMI, which means it includes operating system, it includes the software, also it includes the configuration part, and also the data. Also the data. So now let us verify this practically. Let us see like how to do this and all. How can we do this? So what we do is create an AMI which can host a simple HTML website automatically. Means without any user interaction, whenever the instance got created, that instance must be installed with all the prerequisites to run a website and that website to be automatically hosted. So what are the things first? The first step, what we have to do is first we need to create, I mean, there is no such AMI exist. We need to create the AMI. So create an EC2 instance using Amazon Linux 2023 operating system in AMI, which contains nothing, just a plain operating system. Then log into EC2 and install, configure everything what we need. So what all we have to do first? First, we need to install HTTPD service, right? HTTPD package. Then we need to start the HTTPD service. I mean, whatever we covered in the last session, the same thing we have to do. HTTPD service. Then configure the HTTPD service to be started automatically, or else every time the instance got created, we have to start the service manually. Create index.html web page in the directory var www.html. Then verify that the web page is accessible. Means you need to confirm everything is ready. Once everything is ready, create the AMI from the EC2 instance. Then that AMI contains everything what we need. Then the AMI contains everything what we need. Okay. Then I will show you like create a new EC2 instance using the custom AMI. Let us name it, create the AMI Linux web server, just a name of the AMI. Okay, using the custom AMI Linux web server, and verify that the website is hosted automatically. The website should be hosted because that AMI contains everything, and the same thing to be automatically installed and configured on the new EC2 instance. Okay, so this we are going to check practically. And once everything is done, I will give you some note points like, can I use this AMI in a different region? Right now, I'm going to do all these things in either Northern Virginia or Northern California, right? Can I use this AMI in Mumbai region or Hyderabad region? These things also will verify. Okay, right. So first thing, let us create the EC2 instance. But this, do we have any alternate option for this step B? Any alternate thing that we can install all these things automatically? Yesterday we covered, right? User data. What is the purpose of user data? Whatever the commands you provide, those commands will be automatically installed. Just for time saving, what I do is I'm going to skip the step B, and at the time of creating the EC2 instance, I will provide the user data so that everything, like whatever I need, every piece of software configuration will be automatically ready at the time of EC2 instance creation without any manual steps. If you want to avoid the confusion, just manually you can do that also. Okay, right. So now let us go to the EC2. Right now I'm in which region? Northern California. Let me click on EC2. So let me go to the instances. No instances because everything we deleted yesterday. Launch instances. And here I can say my web server, any name that doesn't matter. Amazon Linux, right? T2.micro, key pair, network settings, click on edit, network, subnet availabilities on these all are my, okay. Coming to the security group, what traffic to be allowed in this security group? You must respond. So this is the EC2 instance, right? In which I'm going to host a website, right? I'm going to host a website. Now the question is, in this security group, in this security group, What traffic we must allow? Please respond. What traffic we need to allow? And this is a Linux EC2 instance. What traffic we should allow? First one, to log into the Linux machines, we must allow SSH, which is a 22, right? Then there is a website, and we must allow the users to access the website. What protocols or what port numbers we must allow for website access? Yes, HTTP, which is 80, then HTTPS, which is 443. These are the things which we must allow, or else that website is not accessible, or else the website is not accessible. If you remember, we have multiple security groups available in which one security group will allow HTTP and HTTPS, the other one will allow SSH. So I attach two security groups which will fulfill my requirement. Sorry. In the advanced details, I will provide the user data so that no need to manually do all these installation part and everything. I can say this is for custom AMI. Just a meaningful message. Click on launch instance. Yep, instance is getting created, which might take a few minutes of time. Then what is the next step? We need to verify that the website is successfully hosted. Means we are able to access the web page. Let us verify that, and then I will show you how to create the AMI. So first we need to verify, right? Select the EC2 instance, and here is the IP address. Let me share that IP address in the chat box. You guys can check whether the website is accessible or not. Okay, let me open a different browser because I have some issues with my Chrome. Okay, so you can see a web page like, hello, this is for custom AMI, right? Okay, means everything is working. Now we need to create the AMI from the EC2 instance. But I recommend just wait for this status check. What is the status check here? Initializing means the status checks are not yet completed. Status checks are not yet completed. In the backend, Amazon is verifying the health of the EC2 instances. It is recommended, not mandatory. Means what is the meaning of this is still the instance creation process is not completed. Something is happening in the backend. So I will never recommend to create the EC2 instances at create the image or something at this stage. This process will not take more than 5 minutes. Maximum it will take 5 minutes from the moment you click on launch instance. So just wait for like 1 or 2 minutes. Once the status check shows available, a 3 by 3 checks passed kind of message you will see. Then we will proceed with the AWS account creation. Sorry, AMI creation, our own custom AMI instead of the AWS provided or AWS managed AMIs. Okay, right. So in the meanwhile, okay, you can see 2 by 2 checks pass. Now it's good. It's good to take the image and all. How to create the AMI? To create the AMI, before creating the AMI, I would like to show you if I already had an AMI where I can see those AMIs. Okay. So in the EC2 section on the left side, you can see a module called images, right? Under images, there is one option called AMIs. So here, Amazon machine images. What is the filter? Owned by me means my own AMIs. No AMIs in this region for owned by me filter. Private images, no private images for me. No public images. I don't have any, I haven't created any, but I can use the public images available in that region. What is the meaning of public image? If I create an AMI, And if I made that AMI as a public, that is a public image. You guys can see my image and you can use it also. Disabled images, I haven't any disabled images. First of all, it's an empty thing. I don't have any AMIs exist. Now let us create. How to create? Go to the instances, select the EC2 instance from which you would like to create the AMI. And here there is an option called actions. Click on the actions menu. You can see an option, image and a tablet, sorry, templates. Click on image and templates. And here create image. Create image. Now, there are two other options. What are these two options here? Create a template from instance means it will create a template which can be used in the auto scaling service. At that point, we will discuss about that second option called create template from instance. Can you guess what might be the third option here? Launch more like this. If I use this one, it will launch the similar EC2 instances. The similar EC2 instances, like whatever is available in that EC2 instance, the same kind of EC2 instances will be created, like a duplicate or a copy of the existing EC2 instance. Okay, but to create the AMI, select the EC2 instance, actions, image, and templates. Click on create image. What is the name we decided? Here I decided like Linux web server, right? Okay. So image name, just give a name, Linux web server. Description you can use. So AMI provides Amazon Linux 2023 OS, HTTPD package installed, configured the HTTPD to start automatically. Just some description about the AMI, what it is offering and all the things. Then scroll down. See here, no need to change the size. Let me show you what I am doing is I'm selecting 11, right? I'm selecting 11 as a size, which means whenever this AMI is getting used to create the EC2 instance, for that EC2 instance, the root volume's minimum size must be 11. That's why the default AMI for Amazon Linux 2023 will select automatically as a 8 GB. Why? Because at the time of AMI creation, they mentioned the size as a 8. But here I'm going to choose as a 11. We will observe this also. And here delete on termination. By default, it is enabled. Means whenever you delete the EC2 instance, the root volume will be automatically deleted. No need to delete it manually and all. Now click on create image. Click on create image. So here, this AMI got created in which region? Northern California. Just remember this, Northern California. Okay, now the image is getting created. Currently creating the AMI, and this is the AMI ID from this so-and-so EC2 instance. Check the AMI status is available before deleting the instance. What is the meaning of that? Until the AMI creation process to be completed, you are not supposed to delete the EC2 instance. Once the AMI is ready, or once the AMI got created successfully, then you can get rid of the EC2 instance. There will be no dependency between the EC2 instance and the AMI. Once the AMI got created, the source EC2 instance is of no use. There is no dependency. Okay, how to verify? So here, let me click on AMIs under images section. Earlier, there was no AMI, but now you can see it. And what is the status? What is the status? Pending means the image creation process is in progress. It won't take much time depending on the size of your EC2 instance, like hard disk size. We have just 8 GB, right? But at the time of creating the AMI, we mentioned 11. Means from this AMI, whatever the EC2 instances are getting created, those EC2 instances must have a minimum of 11 GB size. That is the meaning of that 11 GB which I modify. Okay, so here, what is the visibility? What is the visibility of this AMI which I am creating? Private. What is the meaning of that? Which means only I can use it. Only I can use it. I, in the sense, not only me, every user in this particular AWS account. This is the account ID of my AWS account. Everyone in my AWS account can use this AMI. Means you cannot use it, someone cannot use my AMI because it is a private. But if I convert this AMI into public visibility, then anybody can use this particular AMI. Generally, in the organizations, we will maintain it as a private. Why? Whatever the AMIs we create from the EC2 instances, those EC2 instances might have some important confidential data, right? Or our own customized softwares, our own proprietary softwares, or something might be. That's why in the organizations, we will never ever keep that as a public. We always keep it as a private. Also, one more important note is these AMIs are a region specific. Means I cannot use this AMI to create an EC2 instance in a different region like Mumbai. But what if I need this AMI in Mumbai? We have an option called copy. You can copy the AMI from one region to another region. So let me write down a note point. AMI is a region specific, which means the AMI which was created in Northern California region can be used to create EC2 instances in the same region, not in any other region. But what if I have a requirement to create in a different region? What if I have a requirement to create EC2 using the AMI in a different region? So what we have to do is we can copy the AMI from one region to any region. We can copy the AMI from one region to any region. Data transfer charges applicable. That's a very nominal. I guess $0.01 might be the charge for my 8 GB AMI. Less than 10 rupees, I guess, or less than 5 rupees or so. I am not sure. The 80, yeah, less than 1 rupee or less than 2 rupees. I'm not sure. Very nominal charge. Data transfer charges. But what is the, do we get any bill for creating the AMI? So all these AMIs are maintained as a snapshot in the backend. Snapshot. Snapshot is a kind of a backup. Snapshot in the backend. In the free tier, we get that. Sorry, we get some free snapshot storage. I don't remember how much is it and all. Okay. Instead, this, let us write down in this way. AMIs are maintained as snapshots in the backend. How much storage is utilized to store or to keep the snapshot for that GB storage is a chargeable. If I say my AMI occupies 8 GB, then I will be charged for 8 GB per month. But in the free tier, I guess up to 30, no, not 30 GB. I think up to, yeah, 30 GB or something, snapshot storage is free. But in the real time, they don't care about the free tier. Free tier is nothing for them. They can utilize all the free tier benefits in just 1 day or less than 1 day. So they don't care about the free tier. Okay. But while we are learning or while we are practicing, we must rely on the free plan because we don't want to pay money for learning purpose. Okay, right. So here, let me do a quick refresh. Let me check the state. What is the status? Available. Now, what is the next thing? We need to verify that the AMI got created successfully or not. How can we verify? Create a new EC2 instance from this AMI. Okay. Before creation, what I do is I would like to delete the existing EC2 instance just to avoid the confusion. Why? Because you might get confused that whatever the web page I am accessing is from the old EC2 instance or from the new EC2 instance, right? That's why I'm getting delete that EC2 instance. Okay, now let us proceed with the creation of a new EC2 instance. I will say created from custom AMI, just a meaningful name. Now here, instead of a quick start, earlier we used this, right? In this AMI, we get nothing, just operating system. So here you can see my AMIs, click on that, owned by me, can you see? Or you can click on browse more AMIs for better visibility. Earlier, my AMIs were 0. Now you can see my AMIs has a 1. What it is created by me. Click on that. You can see Linux web server. This is the AMI ID. And if someone already logged into your AWS account, just switch to the Northern California region. And in the AMI place, just click search with the AMI ID, which I shared in the chat box. And you guys cannot see this particular AMI because my AMI is private till now. I haven't made it public. If you want, you guys can search with the AMI ID in Northern California. Don't search in a different region because my AMI belongs to Northern California. Okay, now just scroll down, keep pair, same process. So here, security groups. Let me check hello HTTP, HTTPS, Linux SSH. See here, what is the default storage? 11 GB. You can't go less than 11 GB. Let me try. Must be at least 8. But by default, it is showing 11. Why it is showing 11? At the time of creating the AMI, we proposed 11 GB. But 10 is okay, 9 is okay, 8 is okay. But whenever I go with 7, it doesn't allow because that is the default minimum mandatory size. That is a mandatory size, and the 11 is a recommended size. 11 is the recommended size. Okay, right. So here, launch instance. Did we select the security groups? Yeah, I guess yes. Okay. So while it is getting created, this is the EC2 instance, right? Now I have a question. If someone asks you, could you please check what security groups were attached to this EC2 instance? How can we check? How to check what security groups were attached to that EC2 instance? Simple thing. Select the EC2 instance. Here you can see the tabs, right? Go to security. Can you see security groups? These are the two security groups attached to this EC2 instance. And these are the rules allowed, inbound rules, 22 port in one security group, 80 and 443 in other security group. Okay, if someone asks you, like how many hard disks connected to this EC2 instance and what are the sizes of those hard drives? So click on storage tab, just check how many volumes you can see. Only one, root volume. And what is the size? 11 GB. What is the size? 11 GB. Okay. Now it seems everything is ready. Let us check whether the website is accessible or not. I did not logged in. Even I did not provided any user data or anything, right? Which means you should get only plain operating system. But we used the custom AMI in which everything will be auto installed and pre-configured. Just I'm trying to access here. Hello, this is for custom AMI. The customized AMIs means the AMI which we can include everything, whatever you need for your EC2 instance. But directly you cannot create the AMI. You can't build the AMI, right? So you have to create, I mean, the custom AMI also can be created from the existing EC2 instance. But before creating the AMI from the EC2 instance, you need to, what we call that, configure everything in that EC2 instance, and then you can create the AMI. Okay, right. Now I got a different requirement that AMI to be used to create the EC2 instance in, let us say, Hyderabad region, right? So right now I'm in Northern California. Let me switch to Hyderabad region because I want to create an EC2 instance using that AMI in Hyderabad. Okay, so here let me click on launch instances, my instance, and click on browse more AMIs. But here it is showing my AMIs are 0 because that custom AMI is in Northern California, not in Hyderabad. So you can't use that AMI directly in the Hyderabad region. That is what I mentioned here. So the next thing what we are going to do is copy the AMI from Northern California to Hyderabad region, then create an EC2 instance in Hyderabad region using the copied custom AMI. Using the copied custom AMI. You can't use the original AMI because they are in a different region. You can use once it got copied successfully to the destination region. Okay. So right now in Hyderabad, so I want to copy from Northern California to Hyderabad region. So I am going to Northern California region. See here, click on EC2. The EC2, go to the AMIs, select the AMI which you would like to copy, then click on actions. You can see an option called copy AMI. Click on copy AMI. AMI copy name, Linux web server. I will say copied from Northern California. Just a meaningful name. Description. Yeah. Destination region. Destination region means to which region you would like to copy. I would like to copy to Hyderabad. So let me select it and click on copy AMI. That's it. Now what we have to do, just switch to the Hyderabad region, and you can see an AMI is getting copied. An AMI is getting copied all the way from Northern California to Hyderabad. So here, let me click on AMIs under images. Can you see an AMI? Earlier it was empty. Now you can see. And what is the AMI name? The one which we have given at the time of copying. What is the status? Pending, because that 8 GB of snapshot to be copied all the way from Northern California to Hyderabad, which might take couple of minutes. Once it is ready, you can use this AMI to create the EC2 instance in the Hyderabad region. Okay, right. Then while it is getting copied, I will go back to the Northern California region because my AMI is available and the visibility is private, means nobody can use it. If I want to make that as a public, I want to make this AMI as a public AMI so that anybody in the Northern California region can use my AMI to create the EC2 instance, like how Amazon provided or how a third party providers are providing the AMIs. The same way I can using a public. How to do that? Select the AMI, or I can say, let me write down a note point. By default, the AMIs or the custom AMIs are private in nature and can be used in the same AWS account. Others cannot. Also, we can convert the visibility of custom AMI from private to public so that anyone in that region can use our custom AMI to create the EC2 instance in their AWS accounts, right? Okay, okay. So how to do that? Select the AMI. So here is the AMI ID. I will include that in this particular convert the AMI visibility from private to public. And this is the AMI ID. Once I did it to like once I convert it into public, then you can search this AMI ID in the Northern California region and you can use it to create instances in your AWS account. How to do that is select the EC2 instance. You can see something called permissions here, right? And here image share permission is private. And what is the default thing? The image is only shared with account IDs, organizations, or OUs that you have specified, which means you cannot share the AMI public, but there is an option. But here by default, you cannot. What is the reason? Restrictions for sharing images publicly are managed using block public access for my AMI settings under so and so option. Means by default, public access is not allowed, but we can do it if it is required. We can. How? Go to the permissions tab after selecting the AMI, then click here data protection and security, and here block public access for AMI's feature is there. And what is the status? New public sharing blocked, means you cannot share the AMIs publicly, which is blocked by default, which we have to modify. How to do that? Click on manage. You can see there are multiple manages, but which manage you have to click? The one which is against to block public access for AMIs. Click on manage, uncheck this one, block new public sharing and click on update. Then type confirm, allow public sharing and done. Remember, we did not made the AMI public. What we have done, we created a way or we created some option to allow the AMIs to be public. Okay, right. Now go to the AMIs, select the AMI. Let me just do a quick refresh. Click on permissions. What happened? Okay, let me go back to that page. Okay, no worries. I guess it might take a few minutes of time. No need to worry. Let me do one thing. Let me do a quick refresh because we disabled that block option, right? Which might take a couple of minutes to represent the same on the UI. Okay. In the meanwhile, I will show you that also. In the meanwhile, what if I want to share this AMI with a specific person, not everyone? I don't want to make it public. I want to share this with a specific AWS account. In such cases, you can click on add account ID and enter that account ID here. which is like 12-digit number, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and click on share AMI. Whoever is having this particular AWS account, they can access my AMI. That is the meaning of this. Okay, let me cancel. So here is AMI, click on permissions. Now what I do is here, click on permissions and then edit AMI permissions. And here, AMI availability. Current setting is private, right? Now select the public and click on save changes. And you can see what is the visibility? Public. What is the meaning of this visibility public? Anybody can use this AMI in Northern California. I will keep this AMI as is in the Northern California while you're doing the public, while you're doing the practice. So while creating the EC2 instance, search for this AMI and use it. So even you should be able to create the EC2 instances using the AMI. Okay, so already we started copying the AMI to the from Northern California to Hyderabad. Let's check what happened to that. For that, I will switch to the Hyderabad region. Okay, it is loading. Okay, what is the status? Available means you can start using this AMI, which already I mentioned here. While you're doing the practical, just you have to do it. Okay, once everything is done, you're done with your practicals, and your AMI will consume some space, right? By end of the month, there is a chance that you might exceed the free plan, or you want to save the free tier resources. So what I have to do, we need to delete the AMI. So here there are two things. One is I will show you how to delete the AMI. How to delete the AMI. So let me show you how to delete in the Hyderabad region, and you guys have to delete copied region and the source region also. So here select the AMI which you would like to delete, click on actions, but there is no option to delete, right? So here there is an option called deregister AMI. Click on the deregister AMI. After you deregister an AMI, you cannot use it to launch a new instance. And also I said all the AMIs are associated with a snapshot. By default, that snapshot is available in your account only. Where to check? So under Elastic Block Store, there is an option called snapshots. If I go there, I can see a snapshot, which is a size 1.71 GB. And this is, you can see description, volume, everything, right? Okay, now if I go to the AMIs, and if I select the AMI, click on actions, deregister AMI, and if you don't select this checkbox, what exactly happens is that associated snapshot will exist in your AWS account. So always I recommend you to select this checkbox and click on deregister AMI. But what happened here? I did not select the checkbox, means AMI got deleted, but the associated snapshot is still in my account, which is consuming 1.71 GB space. Then I have to select that snapshot, actions, delete snapshot. So you can delete, you can clean up in a single step, or you can clean up in two different steps. One is deregister AMI and select delete associated snapshot. This is one method. Or deregister AMI, right? Then delete the snapshot manually, either first option or the second option. Then only that entire snapshot and the consumed space will be freed up. Okay, Right. So this is about the AMI, like how can we create the AMI? How can we copy the AMI? How can we convert an AMI from private to public? Right? These all are like required for the interview purpose, but in the real time, we don't make the AMI from private to public, but we can copy from one region to another region. That is more common. Copying from one region to another region, deleting, deregistering, these are the common things. Okay. All right. So yeah. So whatever we covered in the today's session, are you guys clear or any questions? Okay, so I can see clear. It seems everything is clear. And I recommend you guys to do the practicals. You don't do the hands-on exercises, right? There is a high chances that you might forget the concepts and all. Okay, right. If you guys are clear, let us stop the session here. You guys can leave if you don't have any questions. If you haven't any questions, you guys can leave. Okay, right. Thank you, everyone. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay, then. Thank you, everyone. We'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow we will start with Elastic Block Storage (EBS). Okay.